Welcome to Access a Trader, the #1 community for those who are committed to taking control of their trading in order to achieve success, profitability, and longevity. Thank you for joining us. Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good evening everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AccessATrader.com nightly wrap-up show. Hope everybody is doing well. Hell of a day, right? Hell of a day. We'll get to that in a second. If you are so kind and we will continue to get value and I can hopefully point you in the right direction on a day-to-day basis, all I ask is if you could be so kind and take a moment out, click a like, support the channel, share, subscribe. If you have not come aboard already, if you've been watching this broadcast for years and years and years and thinking of 200 different excuses not to at least kind of view and try the wonderful world of pivots. Again, it's very, very interesting that everybody wants to trade the same way, trade the same stocks, trade the same intervals, trade the same time frame. And then everybody gets exactly the same results, and people don't understand why. Again, guys, once you find a lane, whatever your lane is, it could be in the futures market, it could be in the equities market, the options market, you stay in that lane. So if you are interested in pivots, guys, all it takes is 30 days to see if it's a right fit for you. So let's talk about it, right? We always talk about that under no circumstances, right? I don't care if God taps you on the shoulder and tells you to buy a gap up. The problem is you can be buying gap ups usually into supply. Remember that under daily macro supply? The only difference is we knew there was a major level, right? We discussed this on the weekend video. I think everybody knew, if you've been watching the video even since last Tuesday, right? Last Tuesday, if you've been watching the video, you kind of know the importance of 486. 486 was 2 weeks worth of supply. Obviously, you don't buy stocks into strength on gap ups when you're under supply, but when you're oversupply, that's a whole different story. And over the weekend, you had some talk that Trump is softening his stance on a little bit of the tariff talk. Obviously, the bulls like that scenario. Obviously, we still have a matzo ball hanging over our heads for the April 2nd deadline. But the point is the market started giving us clues. All you got to do is go back to the weekend update. We started talking about how the market was giving us 5 out of 6 days of positive closes. The candles turned green, which basically showed higher closes than opens. And we knew the importance of 486. And all I kept on saying is, I don't care what your favorite stock is. Right? Once we start getting above 486, there's a high probability that we have a swinging shot back to the 200-day moving average. We didn't quite get to the 200-day moving average today, but today was an absolute stellar rally. You had the Dow up 600 points. You had the S&P up 100 points or 1.76%. And you had the tech-heavy NASDAQ up 400 points or 2.2%. And the most important part was that, again, we've been trying to do especially for the last 5-6 weeks, was, kind of show you how a professional trader thinks, how they approach the next day. Again, up to last Thursday, I was sell bias every single day. And then something turned, right? The technicals turned a little bit better. We stopped going down on bad news. We stopped going down on news that was slaughtering us for the last 4 or 5 weeks when we lost the 50 and the 200-day moving average. So we finally started seeing signs. The only thing that would have made this day much better, last night around 5:45, I tweeted out, I go, man, if we can just get a light volume open, right? If we can get just a red open, because I was flat over the weekend. I go, if we can just get a flat open, man, it would be great, just because of everything we discussed about and all the data points and the major level about this 486 level, we could get some really, really big moves. The problem with today was you woke up and you see NASDAQ up 200 points and you see Tesla up 7, right, above its pivot. You see, you pretty much saw everything. PLTR that we discussed, right? PLTR and Meta and this one and that one. You say to yourself, well, we have 2 choices, right? We have 2 choices. You could either sit there and complain, right? Or you, as the old adage goes, life gives you lemons, you make lemonades. And the only bad part about was how big the gap up was above 486. We woke up this morning, the Qs were like 488 and change. And I was like, oh, here we go. So I said this in the at morning strategy. I'm begrudged to take them opening range highs, but I will, right? Just because again, we were oversupply and the market went nuts. The market went absolutely nuts. Tesla, we talked about the importance of this whole channel here. It got back above the 253 area. Put in opening range highs, the pre-market highs of 260. And I said to myself, oh, damn, I'm buying this thing up $7 above the pivot that I wanted to buy going into this today. And I'm buying this thing up $11, as they say, when in Rome. So here was the pivots, right? Here was the pivots. Again, you didn't need a lot of things. You really did not. You didn't need a lot of things today. You just needed to know with the dynamics of the market that we were above that 486 level on the Qs. So we obviously had more room to stretch into the next supply zone. Again, it's the whole point of the PS60 theory, stocks trade from supply to supply and demand to demand. And we knew we had at least an additional $4 worth of room until they got to the next supply zone. And here it was, man. Here it was. Tesla was awesome. Best way of saying it, right? Tesla was awesome. Even though I wanted 253, I also want to dunk backwards. You can't get what you want. So again, life gives you lemons. You make matzo ball soup. 260 pre-market highs. Again, I begrudged. I wanted to buy it on a dip. We were trying to get it off the 255 washout. It got to 256, which kind of sucks. It took out 260 and just went absolutely bananas. And Tesla right now, after hours, is approaching this 284 level. For all you guys who are still in the runner, man, this looks great. Stock right now is trading 281 after hours. The pot of gold for tomorrow is this 284.50 level, which is the 200-day moving average. It'll probably get initially rejected there, but for the next couple of days, try to get this thing on a dip. Try to get this thing on a dip. And if the market progresses from here, right, progresses from potential 200-day reclaim on the NASDAQ 100, it might get a next leg up. But the key point of price discovery is this is the goal, guys. This is the goal right here, 284.50s for tomorrow. Huge move, really, really huge move on Tesla. NVIDIA, not a huge move. Again, NVIDIA is still one of the ones that are, in my opinion, still struggling. It's not there, no here. Here's what I did like what I saw about NVIDIA, right? They were coming for the weekly 123, 124, 125 calls. Then they were coming for the 126 calls. It's not out of the woods yet, but here's the pivot, 124.45 needs to build. NVIDIA got to this 34-day EMA supply, which is roughly around this 122.20. So not a bad move, nothing bad at all. What NVIDIA needs to do is clear out this channel. You see how to, here, look, take a snapshot of NVIDIA, right? Take a snapshot of NVIDIA. You see this whole channel here, right? Now look at Tesla. I just want to kind of give you an example of what this should look like, right? You see this, you have this big shaft. That's what she said, right? You see this big shaft, right? And the flag being based. So look at NVIDIA as well, right? Here's your, I got to keep it PG, right? I got to keep it PG, but here's your shaft, right? Here's a shaft. All it needs to do is get above this. Excuse me, here's a shaft. So all you got to do is get above this shaft here and reclaim back the 34 EMA. And then you got to move going to 25, 26 and a half. So I still like this thing for tomorrow if it can wake up. Meta went bonkers at the open. It traded right to supply. 16.13 and 16.14 pre-market highs needs to confirm. Meta went right to supply into the mid 620s. You can see here, went right to supply in the mid 620s. Here's the 60-minute view. What I was talking about, this whole, you see this whole area here, right? This was the whole 613 area here, 613, and just absolutely exploded at the open. So that was pretty good as well. What else? Netflix did absolutely nothing. PLTR, man, what a monster, right? What a monster. We talked about PLTR reclaiming back the 50-day moving average on Wednesday when it reclaimed back that 89 level. PLTR 94 rejected 3 times pre-market, needs to confirm. And here was PLTR. You could see the 94 here. Let me show you the 60-minute view. So you can see here, right? You see it? So 94 was the high here, right? 94 was the high here, 94 was the high here, 94 was the high here. So it needed to get above the 94 pre-market highs, and right? Stock went to 97 and change. Really, really nice move there as well. Look, there's a lot of really, really strong charts, but when you get a day like this, that's super aggressive, that is super above supply. Like I said today, at Morning Strategy, take the stocks that you want to trade. If you don't trade Tesla, don't look at Tesla. If you don't trade Meta, don't look at Meta. If you don't trade Amazon, don't look at Amazon. If you don't trade Apple, don't look at Apple. The key was, and the key is, when you're trading the high mega cap technology space, they usually either go at the same time, right? They either go in one direction at the same time. So everything today literally went at once. Tesla was awesome. PLTR was awesome. Meta was very, very good. Even NVIDIA even gave a $1.50 move. The question is, well, can the bulls do it again tomorrow, right? Can the bulls do it again tomorrow and get up to the 200-day moving average, which will probably get an initial rejection, but it doesn't mean we can't get up there. That's the whole point. What I would love to see, right? What I'd love to see going into tomorrow's session, I would like to see some profit taking at the open, only because if we could get a lot of these stocks that broke above their supply zones today into the rising 60-minute support, right? We can catch a lot of shorts going right to green and taking out today's channels. And speaking of which, let me give you guys some names that I'm watching for tomorrow. Let me give you guys some names. Look at TEM. TEM was a Nancy Pelosi play. You guys remember that? It was a Nancy Pelosi play. It reclaimed today the 50-day moving average. If this chart looks familiar, well, remember Boeing? You guys remember Boeing when it reclaimed back the 50-day moving average and right? So TEM, this is how you practice muscle memory, even if you don't know what you're looking at charts, but this is how you practice muscle memory. So TEM today stopped at the 50-day moving average. Again, is it possible it rests tomorrow? Gives an inside day like Boeing did the other day, and then it resumes on Wednesday. Sure, everything's possible. Again, we had a major move today in the indexes, but watch this TEM next couple of days. If it could confirm the 50-day moving average, it could really, really start waking up. Robinhood is exactly the same chart. Exactly the same chart as TEM. All Robinhood needs to do is reclaim back the 50-day moving average. So that looks really good. Obviously, Tesla, I think unless something act of God opens up lower, I think it's going to see the 200-day test of 284.5 tomorrow. Amazon, Amazon had a nice move today, a really nice move today. Definitely not out of the woods. Yes, there's a lot of supply, but is it possible it could give us a trade tomorrow above today's channel into this 105, 205 and change? Yeah, it's possible. That looks pretty good. AMD surprisingly reclaimed back the 50-day moving average today, guys. That was one of the most shocking things. Think about it. The last time AMD was over the 50-day moving average was right here in October. Okay, right a couple of days before Halloween. So this is the first close over the 50-day moving average. Keep an eye on this thing for tomorrow. If it can reclaim back today's highs, man, this thing can really, really wake up as well. And the last one, watch ARM. Right, watch ARM as well. It's not a great chart, but I'm watching over this channel here. And the one that very interests me, again, to see if it kind of wakes up is obviously NVIDIA. If NVIDIA, like I said, can get above this shaft, I'm such a child, right? Maybe this thing starts going back to its 50-day moving average as well. So again, guys, hell of a day, hell of a start to the week. Hope everybody did well. Again, if you are curious about pivots, guys, all it takes is 30 days to kind of look at the market from an alternative point of view. Guys, God bless everybody. Have a great night. With God's help, I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.